Hey guys, so we have some big energy happening this weekend. It could translate into some type of valuable or important or significant experience or connection or piece of information or something that we are aligning ourselves with somehow. We actually have 3 simultaneous conjunctions playing out on Saturday the 18th. Saturday is the epicenter of this energy. Mars and the North Node coming together in Aries, Venus and Uranus coming together in Venus's sign of Taurus, and the Sun and Jupiter also coming together in the sign of Taurus. This is like larger than life, sudden change that is happening in a very fated, destined way. Specifically, perhaps in relationships, things to do with financial situations. We could see some big stuff happening like on a world stage type of level, and all around it's likely to just be a very interesting weekend. There could be a lot happening, a lot sort of like coming together, like magnetism and attraction going on, but everything right now very, very purposeful, as I said. So let's get into it, you guys. We, of course, in this context have quite a bit to talk about, and I'm here to do just that. So let's talk about all that we have going on this weekend and what things are looking like for us as we move towards next week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, May 17th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we're going to talk about the energy that we have going on this weekend, the 17th through the 19th of May, but we're really going to focus actually on the energy for Saturday, the 18th, because in like the whole month of May, really, this is one of the more significant energetic days because we have so many alignments happening. We've got 3 simultaneous conjunctions playing out between very personal planets, Venus, Mars, and the Sun. Mercury is also at a significant point in the sky, making a square to Pluto, and the Moon also is transiting through Virgo and into Libra, also making aspects to other planets. So the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all of the personal planets that have to do with, what's going on in our more personal daily lives and experiences on an individual level, very much involved in some big time action that is happening today. So that just could translate into, on a more collective level, and a more microcosm level as well, like things playing out, action happening, events taking place. There could be a level of things feeling a bit out of control in the energy right now. And I'm going to say this, starting this weekend and kind of through next week as well, as Mars comes into conjunction with the North Node, that is things happening quickly, like wildfire sort of, that just really may feel very out of our control. There's likely to be, over this next several days, keep this in mind, especially in the context of other people or even yourself, like a very impulsive drive to take action, perhaps without necessarily thinking about it or really even being super aware of why we're doing what we're doing. Mars and the North Node, both in the sign of Aries. Mars in Aries obviously this is like the pure masculine energy. This is like passion and motivation and like courage and strength, driving forward momentum, like a desire to conquer something. This is like on the chase, on the pursuit, like seize the day type of energy, very just like driven, okay, to go after something, to make something happen. And then the North Node, this is also a very like almost compulsive energy. It can be as well. It's known as the head of the dragon. It's, in Vedic astrology, Rahu. And a lot of times when the North Node is activated, there can be sort of like an uncontrollable pull towards something. It's sort of like an insatiable desire or hunger to get something, to achieve something. So, and in the sign of Aries, right, that's that Martian energy. So Mars and the North Node together, like this really could be like reckless, or relentless expressions of this masculine drive, okay, just this weekend or over this next couple of days. And that could translate into people, especially with a lot of strong masculine energy, feeling a bit out of control, very impulsive, very rash, okay, and with the Uranian influence that's so strong right now as well, like there could just be heightened levels of anger, aggression, contention, sort of like violence that's like popping off out of nowhere. So, you know, just something to sort of keep in mind as we go through this energy. Mars is the self, right? Aries is the self. There could be a lack of self-control as whatever else is playing out this weekend. And with all the strong Taurian energy as well, I do think that a lot of people are going to be going overboard and taking things over the top in terms of spending money. So that's another thing, you know, to start, preface this report. The likelihood of getting carried away and swept up in things and feeling overly generous and gregarious and giving, you know what I mean? Like, there's a high likelihood for that as well, you know. And on one hand, it is going to translate into a lot of people getting like some beautiful gifts, and there being like a, you know, sudden windfall or something, like getting that raise, getting that promotion, and maybe being bigger than you expected, like people getting favors and getting what they ask for. But the flip side of that is probably because, you know, people are also getting carried away and taking things over the top. So both sides of the Jupiterian energy playing out like that, and with the Mars dynamic of things as well, you may just want to do your best to have like some impulse control when it comes to like the purchasing end of things generally, because I think a lot of people are going to be spending some very big money. There could be some very high prices going on as well. People willing to pay a lot for things that they deem to be valuable, or to also, like, you know, technology and innovation and stuff like that is quite highlighted with the Venusian Uranian conjunction playing out as well. So just a couple notes as we get started. But with the Jupiterian energy, like, we are likely to be feeling positive, optimistic, hopeful, and generally it should be a good weekend, even though there could be some, you know, aggression or like assertiveness, or again, like on the chase, like going after something, passion's running high, like very strong drive or something that is playing into all of this as well. Anyways, relationships, you guys, we have so many planets right now in the sign of Taurus, and Venus, being the ruler of Taurus, is coming into a conjunction with Uranus, the galactic fixer, bringing blessings in disguise, but also like the great disruptor, the great awakening. There could be some major awakenings going on in the context of relationship and financial dynamics, things to do with value and worth, things to do with commitments and investments, deals, agreements, negotiations. Along those lines, that is somehow playing into maybe that Mars North Node energy, driving some type of action, or also related to some type of expansion, growth, blessing, good fortune that could be coming through as well. Mars and the North Node in the sign of Aries. Mars is the self, Mars is action, the North Node is fate, destiny, and this pull forward towards something. So we've got that playing out. And then we've got Taurus with all of these planets, and Venus ruling Taurus in the conjunction with Uranus. That is calling for sudden, unexpected changes, shifts, realignments, shakeups in the realms of relationships and finances. Primarily, there's huge relationship things that are indicated here. I mean, we're talking about Mars, the masculine, with the North Node, the destiny point. We're also talking about Venus, the feminine, just, you know, in their own signs, both in their own signs, Aries and then Taurus. Mars pursuing Venus, right? That's the way that the signs progress. Venus with Uranus, who is also has a lot to do with the future. Uranus, like I always say, it's an energy that helps to facilitate a higher future potential to come to pass. When we're dealing with a strong Uranian energy, Uranus makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves in order to put us on a path to some destiny being activated that we can move towards, because we're now on that path as a result of however Uranus shook up or affected our lives somehow. That's how the energy operates. That's why a lot of times it's, you know, it's the galactic fixer. It takes things that are out of alignment and puts them right, but a lot of times it's also blessings in disguise, lightning hitting the tower card, right? We often don't see while this energy is playing out how it's ever going to be a good thing, but in the end it ends up being, we realize exactly what we needed to get to a certain point that we wouldn't have been able to get to unless that exact series of events somehow played out. I do also feel like, divine intervention is super indicated right now, like miracles and stuff like that. I would expect to be a more commonplace occurrence as we're moving through the energy of this weekend, just because, especially again in the context of relationship dynamics, what we're creating, what we're building, what we're trying to manifest, our goals, what we're moving towards, because of the masculine and feminine dynamic, the relationships represented by that, and also the ability to create. This, I'm telling you guys, like, when you pull back all the way back and look at it from the whole entire picture, it is all about universe like nudging us in such a way to really help us on a more collective level find and align with like our soul purpose. If you've been feeling disconnected from yourself, unsure of what your role is in this journey, in this life, in this experience, what you're here to do, what your real purpose is, I bet you, over the course of this next year, it will be made a lot more clear to you. And it's also funny also because like, even people that deny it, like even the people that are hiding from it and that are, trying to resist the process as much as possible, like the very act of resistance to the change is going to have the consequence or the effect of making like what really needs to be done even that much more apparent as well. So either through denial or through acceptance, I feel like a lot of people are going to be having some type of an awakening in terms of what they feel like they really need to be doing. And it's like, the more they don't do it, the more they realize they need to be doing it. And the more they do it, they realize that things are sort of falling into place around them in a way that is supporting their process to do it more. A lot of these new relationships that are coming in, a lot of these new connections that are coming in are to support our process of aligning with that purpose and actually beginning to create along those lines. The Sabian symbol associated with the actual conjunction of the sun and Jupiter today, that's the good fortune, that's the blessings to come, that's the growth that comes from the shifts and changes that are going on and the fated actions that are happening right now. That Sabian symbol at 29 degrees of Taurus is two cobblers working side by side at a table. This is telling us literally that the divinely aligned or the necessary connections, with three conjunctions of planets in the sky, that like at the same time, that a conjunction is when two planets are exactly aligned with each other. And that brings up to me like an enhanced level of alignment, of magnetism, of things coming together, things crossing paths at like an exactly synchronized moment. Not only because we have three conjunctions happening in a synchronized fashion, but because two out of the three conjunctions feature planets and points that specifically facilitate that future to come to pass or that destined path to progress somehow. And then the other one that we have going on is Jupiter and the sun, okay, which is the best of the best and the success, right? The growth, the wisdom, the truth. So there's just something that is like elevating us somehow in the context of whatever is or whatever is to come from the stuff that is playing out in association with these aspects and transits this weekend. Something with all the Taurian energy, very fated, but also very valuable, especially in the context, two cobblers working side by side at a table, the actual symbolism associated with the Sun-Jupiter conjunction. That could not be more straightforward, especially when you're talking about symbolism, which has a tendency of, not always being the most clear and linear, but this one is like very, very specific. Sun and Jupiter coming together, great blessings, growth, expansion, wisdom, good fortune, two cobblers working side by side at a table based on the connections that are coming in now and like the purpose that those connections are playing in supporting the work that we are being put on the path to do right now. There are fated, valuable connections, alignments, interactions, events, right? Circumstances also, whatever's going on that are playing out that are some type of an important part or playing some type of an important role in some future success that is indicated to either be now or to be coming to pass in the future. Jupiter brings blessings, but Uranus brings blessings in disguise, right? And Jupiter and the Sun and their conjunction in the end of Taurus are still being ruled by the planet Venus because she rules Taurus, who's in the conjunction to Uranus. So, that's the additional layer of information that we need in order to understand what this Jupiter-Sun conjunction is doing as well. Not only is it about the partnerships and the relationships and the connections that are being made right now and the work that can come from that, but also these sudden shifts and sudden changes and random spontaneous meetings on being somewhere at the right place at the right time for XYZ experience to go on that translates, like that is what is directly associated with the gift or the blessing or the success or the good fortune or the growth or the expansion or the wisdom or the freedom that the Sun-Jupiter conjunction is bringing as well. So it could really catch us off guard. There could be some very shocking or surprising elements to whatever's playing out. It could totally, shake us up. It could really upset some comfort zones perhaps in the sign of Taurus, but there's likely to be a level of awakening and a level of unexpected twists and turns to however this goes. But in the end, I'm telling you guys, we will see that it was for the best somehow. So larger than life energy playing out this weekend with Jupiter and the Sun coming together. That's always generally the experience when we have these two planets in alignment. It can also be because this is happening in the sign of Taurus. Generally, Jupiter and the Sun in a conjunction, the sign Taurus, could also be like a very stubborn, willful, like fixed energy. Jupiter expanding the fixed nature of the Taurus energy. But again, with Uranus being with Venus exactly, who is the ruler of these planets right now, this is also telling us that something about whatever's going on right now is for the purpose of creating movement or motion, agitating change somehow, breaking through stagnancy in terms of things that have been fixed or steadfast or sturdy or just like unmovable for long periods of time. Necessary changes are being created here, and this could also be in terms of, partnerships or commitments or investments or things, relationships that we've been involved in for a long period of time that need to be realigned somehow. So that is also how this energy could be functioning. But really big change represented here for sure. And it does seem, again, positive changes, valuable experiences, blessings and things being put right. Or, on a more mundane level, this could literally just translate into like a really great weekend. It could be an awesome day Saturday. You could find yourself in a situation or doing something that you had not planned to do, but it is like the funnest, best thing ever. Like you're feeling really good. There could be, again, like a level of just good fortune or good luck that's associated with it. Spirits running very high with the Jupiter-Sun conjunction as well. Very good time to ask for a favor if you need one, to ask for the raise, to ask for the promotions. Things are very likely to go your way in this energy. Because why? Because the flip side, people are likely to be overly generous. People are just probably feeling very, wanting to give and very larger than life, like they can do and accomplish and be anything. Oh, I'll make it back, no big deal. I'm not afraid to splurge. Like that's just kind of, I think, where some people are going to be, and there's going to be a lot of people on the receiving end of that as well. So that is how that is likely to go. Now, with the Uranian influence and the Jupiterian influence, both of these have to do with kind of like a desire for freedom, people seeking freedom, wanting to grow and expand and move forward with something in an unrestricted manner. Anywhere, this is, I feel like, also where that Mars North Node is coming through. Anywhere where we feel caged in, where we feel restricted, overly controlled, limited, people are going to be like breaking out, okay? People are going to be burning it down with the fire Aries energy in the North Node. People are going to be getting themselves out of situations that they just find to be intolerable anymore. Compliance is not likely to be all that high. And definitely people willing to just like fight or to do what needs to be done to eliminate, okay, the restrictions to whatever growth or pursue or chase or forward momentum, progress, action, activity that they're feeling called to right now. And it is the like break the chains energy for sure. And whatever's happening, even if it seems, not necessarily that beautiful on the surface, is like it's productive and it's necessary in the energy right now. If there's ever a time, this is the time. So maybe just be aware of that as well. Very easy to get carried away, right? And we don't want to allow ourselves to be on that end of things. People with the Jupiter Sun, this can also, and the Mars Aries, like this is putting an emphasis on the ego. Like I will say that, and people are likely to feel like they can literally, do it all. There's probably going to be, as a result of that, like a level of over promising, right? Over committing, as I was indicating earlier, overspending, over giving, and over investing in things as well. That is probably both a good and a bad thing, depending on where you're standing there. I will tell you though, it does look like whatever is coming together in this energy, it's like, it's there for a good time, not a long time. This is not like these connections that I'm talking about that are coming like into alignment right now. Honestly, like they are meant to be, but it's like they're not meant to be necessarily lifelong connections. They're meant to be life changing or life altering connections somehow. We also have, and I want to say this before I forget because of, all these three conjunctions that I'm already talking about. Mercury, the messenger planet, also ruling meetings, interactions, choices, decisions, opportunities. Good opportunities could also, very big opportunities could also be coming through right now. But again, there could be a level of over promising. So just, maybe keep that in mind. But Mercury is also at a very interesting point in the sky when we have all of these synchronized alignments playing out. Happens in the sign of Taurus, right? Because we've got pretty much all the personal planets in the sign of Taurus right now, except for Mars, who's super strong, burning over there in his sign of Aries. It 3 degrees of Taurus, which is, I talk about this kind of regularly on this channel. 3 degrees of Taurus happens to be a special point in the sky because it's the degree where Chiron was discovered, and it's known as the Chiron point, and it holds a lot of the same characteristics and archetypal features and like energies as Chiron himself. And so when we have planets that are making their arrival at 3 degrees of the sign of Taurus, this is also setting off some Chiron energy. And the Sabian symbol for the Chiron point is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And it also brings up these themes of value, worth, wealth, and with Mercury there in a square to Pluto, this is also perhaps some very deep, even maybe like subconscious transformations that are going on within us in regards to what it is that we value, what we do find to be worthy, what we are attracted to, what we do want to build and grow and create, what we are thinking about, our own level of awareness perhaps in terms of like our own potential and our own inner resources and our own value. There could be an awakening honestly going on as a part of everything that is playing out right now to the truth maybe like of our own ability to create with what we've got going on inside. There could be an awakening to our own creative potential somehow that is coming through with this and how we're going to build with it, which really does, like what was I saying earlier? I was talking about how all of this has so much to do with realigning people with their path and purpose. And that Mercury at the Chiron point, that's also a cycle breaking energy in the square to Pluto, breaking us out of like mental perceptions and thought patterning and stuff like that may have been blocking us from seeing our true potential or causing us to not believe in our ability to create or to grow or to produce something somehow. There's like a creative resurgence going on right now. I think a lot of people are going to be like getting involved in various like forms of creative manifestation somehow, across the board, but a common theme of like using something that I've discovered inside or feeling like driven to create or build or produce something by like a creative impulse that just won't leave me alone. I think that that's going to be like a more common collective experience as we move, through the weekend, but also through the summer and actually through the rest of this year as well. Now, this is also going to put a prominent emphasis on women with all of this very strong Taurian energy. Prominent females could be a theme right now, sort of in terms of the collective narrative or on world stage, as well as some very energized or active masculine energy that is engaged in some type of maybe sudden or significant or important action playing out somehow. Literally though, just the themes of relationships, partnerships, financial changes and transformations and awakenings in those regards likely to be the most relevant. Also, Venus rules other people, relationships, right? With Uranus, other people could really be surprising you, acting very strange. This could also be hitting on again, a collective world stage type of level in terms of maybe some big activity or event that goes on, or just something that is emphasized in regards to, ready? Money, finances, the economy, value, pricing, inflation, land, food, resources, agriculture, construction, projects, partnerships, alliances, deals, agreements, investments, commitments, and also Mars, North Node, Aries, wars, fights, conflicts, battles, maybe about those things, or actions that are being taken in regards to that set of basic themes as well somehow. Whatever shakeups are going on though, could be triggering some type of financial fears. I will say also worries, insecurities, or confusion. The next layer that we need to bring into all of this has to do with what the moon is doing. So we've got these three conjunctions, right? We know Mars in the North Node, that's some type of fated action. We know Venus and Uranus in the sign of Taurus, that is sudden, unexpected shakeups or changes in relationships and financial situations, but it is purposeful, meaningful, and for the best somehow. And then we have the Sun and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. That is big money, big deals, big investments, big partnerships, big purchases, big spending, right? Or a big gift, big windfall. And then we've got Mercury at the Chiron point, squaring Pluto. That is some type perhaps of mental transformation or awakening that's going on, some type of shift that's going on deeply within us that is realigning maybe what we find valuable, what we want to spend our money on, what we want to attract into our lives as a reflection of how we are changing and what we are now attracted to. And then we have the moon in Virgo to start the day, and the moon will then move into the sign of Libra. And while in Virgo, the moon will form a conjunction to the black moon, then we'll move on and oppose Neptune before entering Libra and forming a trine to Pluto, which is also bringing in this element of the shadow side nature of things, maybe things that have been hidden, maybe fears also. There's an element of fear or insecurity that could be coming through here, but ultimately the fear being some type of an illusion and actually it being a more empowering experience that turns into something positive as an outcome. Whatever shakeups going on with the moon in Virgo conjunct the black moon could be triggering some type of financial fears or worries or insecurities, or then the moon in Virgo moves on to oppose Neptune, maybe some type of confusion or disorientation. But with the moon Neptune opposition, this is also telling us that those very fears are probably more of an illusion than of the truth, because Neptune is the illusion and Jupiter is truth, right? And so with the moon opposite Neptune with the black moon, that's financial fears, insecurities, fears of failure. But the Neptunian thing there, that's also could be the illusion. We may feel confused, we're not, seeing the whole picture clearly. But then as the moon, but the sun is with Jupiter, right? And so we know that the actual truth is that positive, productive growth is happening. And then the moon leaves Virgo, enters the sign of Libra, another sign ruled by Venus, okay, and forms a trine to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So we got Mercury squaring Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at the Chiron point in the sign of Taurus, Venus, and we have the moon in Libra ruled by Venus forming a trine to Pluto. The Venetian themes, I'm telling you guys, are things to do with women, or things to do with femininity, or things to do with the divine feminine energy, or things to do with, I got relationships, finances, growth, generally, creativity, fertility, all of that type of stuff, some type of major transformation underway. The moon in Libra, trining Pluto in Aquarius. That is another energy that is on these deep internalized emotional levels, helping us to transform something in regards to the Libra energy. This is also balance. This is also like inner peace. This is also justice. This is also agreements and relationships and connections in partnerships. And the moon in Libra is also ruled by Venus, who is in the sign of Taurus in a conjunction to Uranus. So be it on an emotional level today, on Saturday, as the moon is moving through there, be it on a mental level today, we've got a Plutonic connection going on. Very exactly, Pluto is retrograde right now. There could be some things being unearthed, like from the depths, literally. This is also making me think of like remembering who we used to be, the things that we used to love, like what used to make us us, perhaps before maybe we lost ourselves in the need to conform to the world at large. There could be like a resurgence of inner child energy coming with this. The Chiron energy, Chiron point, is also associated with the inner child. There could be some real healing that is going on and some release from some cycles of the past that were perpetuating as a result, perhaps maybe of some unhealed or unacknowledged like inner child stuff going on. The relationship to ourselves as well. Venus and Mars so highlighted right now, Mars being all about the self and Venus being all about relationships and our ability to create and to produce as a result maybe of a distorted relationship to ourselves could be being alleviated or healed or, you know, put back right somehow in this energy as well. So we are really in a very corrective time right now, despite perhaps, like there, I've got to say, okay, and we'll talk about why a little bit more so in a minute, but there is a level also of like brutality and, you know, as I said earlier, maybe just some like impulsive, hostile, violent rage type of stuff that could be sweeping through like uncontrollable passion and stuff with this energy, a desire for vengeance somehow, or just not holding back. The degree where Venus and Uranus are coming together, we actually had the Sun and Uranus conjunct at this degree the other day, is a pretty brutal symbolic reference. The Sabian symbol of that degree is an Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging from his belt. So it really is like not holding back. Like it's sort of like the fight to the death type of energy could be coming through, like people really, really willing to ride and like stand up for what they feel needs to happen or what they are pursuing in this energy. We also, along those same lines as these conjunctions come into alignment, have the Earth at 29 degrees of Scorpio, which happens to be another very kind of like similar vibe degree to the 24 Taurus, where Venus and Uranus are. 29 Scorpio, that Sabian symbol is an Indian woman pleading to the chief for the lives of her children. So, you know, when we consider these two specific degrees in the context of that, and then or in the context of that, like that symbolism, and one more, okay, the position of the North Node, obviously in the conjunction with Mars at 15 degrees of Aries, that Sabian symbol is an Indian weaving a blanket. So interestingly and strangely, we have three symbols at important degrees in the way the energy is playing out and the way the planets are coming together right now. Like we're talking about literally the degree where the ruler of all this energy, right, Venus, is located with Uranus right now, and the position of the Earth, what's happening, state of things on the ground, right, and the position of the North Node where Mars is aligning, all referencing Indians. And not only that, actions that are very necessary, despite perhaps their level of brutality, in order to achieve a certain outcome that is the right thing and that is a part of the bigger picture or the divine tapestry that is being constantly woven and coming into fruition right now. Like, these are the strings and the threads of fate that are being intricately woven together to create this divine blueprint that is destined to unfold right now. And, you know, freedom, change, generosity being represented here, but strangely accurate symbolism as well. Like people willing to fight for what it is that's truly important, because it's what needs to happen at this specific moment in time. Literally, the Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging from his belt, an Indian woman begging to the chief for the lives of her children, and an Indian weaving a blanket. The threads of time, like the presence of a higher power, okay, and all of this playing out right now is quite undeniable from an energetic perspective, to the point that we've got Jupiter, the ultimate success, okay, growth and expansion, the best of the best, in alignment with the sun. So that's what I feel about all this. That's what I really have to say about all this. There's a level of, you know, synchronicity going on. I talk about divine alignment. I talk about things happening in divine timing and the level of fate and destiny associated with all that. And that also applies, I feel like, to the very fact that these planets are coming into conjunction at this moment all together to tell this specific story. So it could get a little bit wild out there, okay? People are likely to be like, I mean, on some type of mission to accomplish something that is very important to them. We don't really have, I feel like, we're not necessarily in a position to judge other people's missions right now, and we should keep that in mind as well as we're observing maybe some of the strangeness that's going on in the context of other people. But we do need to keep the faith, and we do need to realize that while we may not necessarily agree with what everybody's got going on right now, or it may seem a certain way to us, like it's a part of their journey right now, okay? And Mars in the North Node, things could get out of control, things could get crazy, things could be real heated, like things could seem like they don't make any sense. But there is an Indian weaving blanket. That's the position of the North Node. Like this is, and it's the North Node itself, and it's Uranus. Things are being put right somehow, whether or not we can see it, and the Sun and Jupiter together, blessings are to come. And again, on that more mundane level, just go have a good time this weekend. Whatever you get into on Saturday, it's probably going to go really well. You're probably going to have a better time than expected. If you're meeting new people, don't be surprised if somebody that you meet is really like important for some reason. But also remember, this is, while a lot of people are likely to be making investments, making purchases, spending money, making commitments, getting into partnerships and stuff right now, we don't want to perceive the stuff that's happening as something that is going to be forever and that is going to be with us in this current state for the long term. This is life-changing connections, okay? Not lifelong enduring connections that are coming through. Two cobblers working side by side at a table, though. The connections that are coming in right now are very valuable and are likely to lead to some type of success, growth, productive, beneficial outcome somehow, and create, you guys, if you feel the impulse, don't deny it. As I said earlier, like the denial for what we know we're supposed to be doing right now is really only going to work to get you to that same place that you know that you're supposed to be getting to, but you'll probably just have to go through more obstacles in order to get there. So we're getting to the same place, whether we accept it and surrender or whether we resist it and deny it. So the choice is yours, my friends. That's what I have to say, you guys, about the energy of the weekend. Should be an interesting weekend. It's always like, as an astrologer, when I see energy aligning like this, which really doesn't happen very often, I can't even remember the last time I was talking about 3 big conjunctions happening simultaneously to each other with the moon and Mercury also involved. It's just probably gonna be something that is special to us or surprising or something valuable somehow that goes on. Let's get synchronicity card now. What would be something good for us to keep in mind as we move through the weekend? You guys, look at what it says. Success and victory. So just in case you needed a little bit more of the same thing again, we have success and victory coming through in terms of the synchronicity message as well. The desire of the righteous shall be granted. That is Proverbs 10:24. That literally is, I feel like, a key phrase for this energy. Jupiter is all about the righteous, right? The righteousness. Uranus is also about like the right thing happening. And I've been saying, you guys, if you do the right thing, it's going to pay off. Hard work pays off in big ways this month of May. The desire, that's that Mars energy, and the Venusian energy, the Taurian energy as well, that is all about really wanting to like satisfy some desire somehow. So the desire of the righteous shall be granted. Proverbs 10:14. I was also saying, ask for a favor, ask for what you need this weekend, because your wishes will probably come true. If you wish to lead a good life, you must have good thoughts. You are on your way. God is working for you. You can be assured of success and victory, which is how I feel about all of this as well. So we've got double validation on that one, and that's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like to narrate the shift of the ages as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I love hearing from you. I really appreciate what you have to say. It is meaningful to me to know what's going on with you guys out there. If you are having experiences that match up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. If you want to know what's on this here whiteboard, I have a link in my description box below where you can find a Facebook group where I post images of that, so that's where you can see that. And come back with me next time, you guys. On Monday, we have another week of astrology that we're going to get into. We have a full moon in Sagittarius that is coming up, and we're moving into that energy after the weekend starting next week. So this big energy that we have going on this weekend is not going anywhere. Energy is probably just going to continue to expand as we head towards the full moon, and I'll be back to talk about it. So you should come back too, and I will see you then, guys. Have a very beautiful weekend. I think that you will. And until next time, bye.